Hey everyone, and welcome back to my videos. Today we're going to be going over two topics, which is sending emails through the SMTP server and response redirects within your applications. So sending emails through SMTP. What SMTP stands for is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, and it's used for sending emails. And it's only used for sending emails. In order to receive emails, which we're not going to be doing in our application, but just so you guys know, there's this thing called IMAP, and there's also POP3, which is both of those protocols are used to receive emails. And SMTP is used to send emails. So what POP3 does is it downloads the emails from a server, such as Gmail, Yahoo, whatever, and it downloads it into the application that you're using, such as Outlook. You could even do your own application that uses POP3. But then once it downloads it from the servers so that you can read it, same as Outlook, it deletes it from the server, but it keeps it on the client. So it'll keep it on your computer. But if you go to, let's say, your phone and you try to look at it on your phone, at your email on your phone, that email won't be there anymore because your computer, since it's using POP3, deleted that email when it downloaded it. Now, IMAP, what it'll do is it downloads, this is like the most popular one. IMAP will download the emails from the server onto the client, such as your computer, but it won't delete it. It won't delete it from the server. So it'll allow like other email clients that the user might use to still access the emails. And for our applications, we'll be using a SMTP client. Now, just so you know, this is deprecated but still widely used. Microsoft themselves have stated that people should switch to MailKit. So it's a NuGet package that you can download from the NuGet package manager. And Microsoft themselves recommended this on their own website. So like I said, SMTP allows for outbound emails to be sent. But for that, in order to do that, you have to specify the host, such as who's your email service provider, like Gmail, is it Yahoo, is it something. And these email providers have very specific ports and URLs, like hosts. Servers that you have to specify. So I don't even know all of them. I typically just Google, like if I'm trying to hook Gmail up to my application, I'll Google like Gmail SMTP server information. And that will usually give me the host, the port, and whether to use SSL and stuff like that. So just so you guys know, there's, I think, 3 common ports. One of them is port 25 to send emails. The other one is port 587, which is used to send emails through SSL. And then there's another one that starts at 400 something. I think it's 465. So that's also a secure way to send it. But yeah. So anyway, so you have to specify, to send an email, in your application, you have to specify the host, the port, the username, and the password. The username for your email and the password for your email. Now, in order to send emails through, let's say, Gmail, Gmail actually forces you to lower your security on your email. Now, I don't want to lower the security for my email, but you could. But let's say that you didn't want to. You could use a thing called an SMTP relay. And here I have an example of one. So mailjet.com, it's free. And the reason that this is useful is because setting up connections and security settings through like normal email providers like Gmail, like I said before, it lowers the security and it's a hassle. I've tried it. It's a real pain. So I use SMTP relay, Mailjet. Now there's other ones out there like SendGrid as well that you can use that are pretty popular. Most of these have like free options, but they have limitations as to how many emails you can send per day or per month or both, or stuff like that. And the cool thing about SMTP relays is that they have retry capabilities. And most relay services have tracking capabilities as well to track, if a user has opened your email and stuff like that. And this is real cool because now you don't have to implement tracking capability or retry capabilities within your application. So something like Mailjet, you will have to. Now I have a whole video about this in my coding example that kind of correlates with this video. But you'll have to provide Mailjet your email, your Gmail account, or whatever other account you use, like Yahoo or whatever, and it'll send you an email that you'll have to click on and activate it. And what that will do is it'll activate your email, it'll authenticate your email onto Mailjet. And so Mailjet will be like, okay, yeah, this person does have this email, so this person can use blah 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 at gmail.com. And what Mailjet will do is it'll send emails on your behalf through your Gmail account. And so through Mailjet, Mailjet will provide you the host, the port, a username, and a password. And when you utilize that in your application and you hit send, it's not going to send it through mail. It's going to send it through Mailjet, but Mailjet is going to send that email to whoever you send that email to, and it's going to look like it's sending it from your Gmail account. So here's an example of how you would set your web config up. So here you have to have system.net. You have to have mail settings underneath it, and all this is under the configurations. And then under that you have the SMTP. Let's see if I can get a laser pointer. All right. So under that you have SMTP, and then you specify from, and then your email address at gmail.com. This would be, whatever email address you set up and you hooked Mailjet to or whatever. And here's an example of Mailjet's host. Now this may or may not be the same for you. I'm not really sure. I think it should. But this will anyway be provided to you by Mailjet. So the host is right here. So we have the network tag, and then host is right here. We specify the port. We say that enable SSL equals true because we're using a port that uses SSL. And then your username you provide it here, and your password you provide it here. So for Mailjet, it'll tell you what your username and your password is, so you'll put that there. But if you were using something like Gmail account, again, Google Gmail SMTP information, or I think it's just literally your email address and then your password. So, but don't quote me on that. And your web config can be found right here. And then the other thing that I did was I implemented this notifications BLL and this interface BLL. And within that, I created a method called send email. Now, what this method does is it accepts it to, like, who we're going to send it to, the subject of the email, the body of the email, and what the reply to is going to be like. Reply to, you can see my coding example to know how that kind of works out. But the very important ones are the to, the subject, and the body, and then the from. But I'll talk about that as well. So here, first, we want to specify a mail message. So you can't have an email. You can't send an email through your application without a mail message. So here, and I'm using blocks again because I want to close and dispose of these objects right after I'm done using them. So first we want to create our mail message. Our message, we specify who it's going to. So it's going to here, from, and then the message from address. We create a new mail address to specify who it's going to be coming from. So for instance, it's going to be coming from this user right here, your email address at gmail.com. So whatever you put here, that's who this is going to be. That's what's going to be here. And then when you send the email, it's going to show this as a person's name in the email. And then the subject is the subject. And then the reply to list Again, you can watch my coding example video for this. The body, is the body of the email, and then you might have your body might be HTML. So if your body is HTML, you need to specify message.is body HTML equals true. Otherwise, I think it's false by default. And so if you don't specify this and you have you send HTML tags into this body parameter, it's not going to show it as HTML. The person's literally going to see the HTML elements and the tags. And then once we're done implementing all that, we create our client, SMTP client, and we try, and we put that in a try because sometimes it'll fail, and you don't want that to happen. You want to log it. And then within the try block, we do client.sendMail. So I believe if you do this synchronously, it's just client.send or client.sendMail. I'm doing this asynchronously, so I'm doing sendMail async. And it's important to note what I'm doing here. So let's look at the next screenshot. Here you'll notice that I'm specifying, a from address. I'm specifying when I create this SMTP client, I'm specifying the host and the port and the username and the password here. You could do this. This is fine. But the reason I'm doing this is, let's say that you don't add this web configuration here. Well, let's say that you do add it. Then you don't have to specify all these things. You don't have to specify your credentials within this code. You don't have to specify your host and the port within your code. Because if you're copying and pasting this emailing code in a bunch of places, it can get very messy. So it's better to have it all in one place like this in your web config, and then just do this, because this is better because you don't have to specify the port. See, I'm not specifying SMTP in the port or the host in the SMTP client or the credentials, because it's pulling it all. ASP.NET knows that when I create these objects, it knows to pull the credentials from this web config. So that's a cool thing about it. So just so you know. And anyway, this is what it would kind of look like if you were to write the code. And I have that here. So here you can see how I'm utilizing this BLL function right here. I have this button click in the front end in the Contact Us page. Does a whole bunch of validations, and then if everything passes, it calls a send feedback function within the page. So here it is, send feedback. So we're just collecting some information here, putting it into some variables, manipulating it. Here we create our body. You see the P tags here for HTML. And then we call notifications, my notifications BLL, and then send email, and then here you go. I actually think I need an await here, but anyway, send email, and then here we go. So yeah, so I think that's it for that. If you guys have any questions about this, feel free to hit me up in the comments. And let's just quickly go over some response.redirect. So utilizing response.redirect, it will send a response to the browser, and the browser will read the response. And so by sending it a redirect response, you're telling the browser to redirect to another page, and you're providing that page, and then the browser automatically redirects. So this is useful. Now I'm pretty sure that we've already used this, but just so I guess as an overview, this is useful when the user logs in. You can redirect them to like the dashboard page. When they sign up, you could redirect them to the dashboard page after they sign up and log in successfully, or when they perform some sort of action that requires a redirect to another page. Like after they create an order, let's say you want it to go to like an order successfully created page. That's fine. You can do that with response redirects. Response redirects also takes two parameters, URL and the end response. I think I forgot to put stuff here, but let's go to the next slide. So here's some examples of response redirects. So here is the first example. I have one button that when you click it, it does this, button 1. Response.redirect, and it'll transfer you to the login page, and the end response is false. So remember how I said here it has two parameters, a URL and the end response. This is a URL, this is a response. Then the next line, I have console.writeLine, and then I will execute. And the reason that this will execute is because we're not ending the response. By ending the response like this is doing here, when this line gets executed, because we're ending the response, that means that anything after this line will actually not get executed. So this console.writeLine will never get executed. Unlike here, we're telling it not to end the response. So by calling button 1, by pressing the button 1, it's going to call this line the redirect line, but it's not going to redirect right away. It's going to wait until everything has finished executing, which is this line as well, this console.writeLine. Once everything is executed, then it will redirect. It will send the redirect. Unlike button 2, response.redirect, the end response is true. It's going to end the response and redirect right away. So after this line executes, it's not going to execute the console.writeLine. Now, by default, response.redirect, the end response is true. So I don't have to specify this. So anyway, this was the brief overview of sending emails and response redirects. So if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in the comments. Like I said, hit the like button if this helped you, and subscribe to my channel to get notified whenever I post anything else. All right, guys. Thanks. Have a good day. Bye.